like to speak briefly here, if that's possible, about the holy matters of time. You're now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. I'm your brother, the Rastafari, Ital, Iman, I. After 12/21/2012, there seemed to be, and when I say seems to be, there was a noticeable change in the world. The attitude of the people, even the attitude of the environment. On 12/21/2012, I was in the Four Corners area with a few brothers who have been studying my work over the years. The gods saw fit that I have some assistance in carrying out this mission of time, which is the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. A very simple thing, but we lacking physical means. We've heard of the physical cliff, the illusion that the government is out of money. Well, we who have been studying the word, the holy word of time, we are a very poor people. I am. The little money that we do make, Satan sees fit to take it from us. Being in the Four Corners area, 12/21/2012, I witnessed the handwritings on the walls of time at Chaco Canyon, Pueblo Bonito. I noticed the ancient ruins. For some time I had noticed around this place where I'm staying. I'm about to be evicted in a few weeks, but around this place over the past 19 years, I noticed rocks that wasn't common in this area. Maybe I've dug more than 100 out of the earth here, doing my gardening seasons here over the last 19 years, on and off. I always wondered where those rocks came from. How did they get here? So at Pueblo Bonito, I noticed that these same rocks that I had found around the house here were there in New Mexico. At Pueblo Bonito, those rocks were scattered throughout the area. To my chagrin, but I felt happy because I knew that I had some connection with this place, Pueblo Bonito. If you've heard of the sacred space stone, while here in this area also, I was thrown, as the Havasupai taught me about in the year 2000. Once a rock appeared in my pocket, and it shocked me, and I asked about it, and a young Havasupai Indian told me that they say that it was thrown to you. So here at American Beach on Amelia Island, this strange rock was thrown to me, while at Second Mesa Arizona, there was a strange white lady inquiring about why we were there. So she told me about this old Indian man that lived on First Mesa. His name was Wilmer. So me and the lady had a conference in the Hopi conference room there at Second Mesa, and we parted ways for a moment. She said we would get back together in about 3 hours. The woman didn't know what room I was in, but she called my room directly and told me to come to Chaco Canyon. The man we had talked about, Wilmer, was there. It was something about his name that she thought was very mystical, Wilmer, and she often had me to pronounce it Wilmer. He's an elder man, probably in his 80s or 90s. So when I just asked one of my companions to travel with me. She said we had a window to get there because it was snowing there and the roads were clear, so come now. So it was strange, I thought it was, but I asked my brother Wise to travel with me, and he did. He was the one responsible for my safekeeping. He made sure I stayed in nice places. He made sure I ate, and I give thanks to him and all the other brothers that came with us. We went to Chaco Canyon, and the lady, I forgot her name, but she was there. We went to the Chaco Canyon trading post, and this old man Wilmer was sitting there around the table, and I noticed down by his feet there were 2 quarters, 2 25-cent pieces, and the lady said she showed them to me. She thought they were strange, but all during our conversation I showed him the rock, and he said, "This is a big deal. This rock come from out of space," he said. So I had an idea that it did, but it was confirmation. So after our conversation was over, he had talked about he had met extraterrestrials in person, and they had talked to him in Arizona on the mesas. And once we got up, started leaving, I looked on the floor there. There were 3 quarters there, 3 25-cent pieces. So he said he missed his pocket, but I knew that that wasn't so. They didn't miss his pocket. He didn't try to put them in because they fell too close. They fell too close to each other. They wouldn't have fell like they fell in a certain order. So those 3 quarters were symbolic of the 3 Hopi mesas. The reason that I went to the Four Corners area, as you've heard me talk over the years, truly I knew that the Maya calendar to be correct, as the 3 stars in the belt of Orion on the 3rd positioned themselves over the Great Pyramids at Giza, Egypt, and also other places pertaining to the number 3. The 3 Hopi mesas was 1, and as we know, when the 3 wise men came to Bethlehem following the star, as the 3 stars in the belt of Orion represents the 3 wise men, those stars point or tilt to Sirius. So about 140 miles from the 3 Hopi mesas, there is this place called Chaco Canyon. There is one little town or one ancient ruin called Pueblo Bonito. Bonito means meat, or it's a certain type of fish. So note the 3 wise men followed the star. The 3 mesas point to Chaco Canyon, where Pueblo Bonito is. The star was over Bethlehem when Jesus was born. Bethlehem in Hebrew means the house of David or the house of bread. In Arabic, it is the house of meat. Now, note when we say bread, break bread, we mean eat meat and bread. So, Pueblo Bonito, or the ruins at Chaco Canyon, there were kivas, or storage houses for grain. So grain and bread is synonymous. So there are roads hundreds of miles in all directions leading to Chaco Canyon. It's sort of like a Mecca, a great ceremonial place. I had found some ancient turquoise stones around here, so when we were on the third mesa, we met Grandfather Martin, the keeper of the ancient Hopi sacred stone tablets, and I gave him as a gift these 2 turquoise stones that I found around the house here. These, at Pueblo Bonito, thousands upon thousands of turquoise were found there. You can't very seldom see turquoise there now, but all the other ancient stones were scattered around, and I have a handful of them now. I've buried some under my moringa tree, the holy moringa tree here, which I probably would take up at the end of the month because they're selling the place after 19 years. But this is the luck, you must say, I can say, after I came back from a very significant journey, a pilgrimage. I came back to what some people would call bad luck. My wages, I have a little job. My wages have been garnished. That's one of the things that happened. And same-sex marriages in the world, so that being homeless, wages garnished, don't know what the future holds. I would say that it's still a test because I truly ascended. That spirit, I found that the ancient Anunnaki had traveled this way. That's why they left those stones here, because they came out to the ocean, to cross the ocean. There's a dune here over 60 feet, and the shapes like pyramids, so we can't never tell what's under those. But my point here is that as the wise men followed the birth of the Christ, it was said that the Quetzal bird in the Maya mysteries and the Maya lore would appear at that time. The Quetzal bird is symbolic of Quetzal, the plum serpent. Now, while on the third mesa at a store, we all gathered there, I looked into the sun. I sun gaze a lot. I looked into the sun and closed my eyes. Now, Quetzal bird is nowhere in my mind. Don't know anything about the Quetzal bird, but I noticed that the sky on the horizon there was turquoise green. So I looked at the sun, I closed my eyes, and inside in my mind's eye, some would say branded into my retina, was a turquoise or blue-green bird, Quetzal bird. And upon research, I learned of the Quetzal and what the prophecy was. So, after meeting Grandfather Martin and other wise Hopi men, his granddaughter and her husband, and going to the sacred Hopi prophecy rock and just having a great time. My son was there with me, and my students from the Virgin Islands and one person from London came. We'll tell you about London in a few minutes. We, upon the morning of 12/21/2012, when the sun rose, I was standing at the kiva at a circle at Pueblo Bonito, at one of the largest kivas there, or largest houses there, as they called them. And I was looking east as the sun came up. I wasn't by the sun dagger. The sun dagger is at the entrance of the park there, at the entrance of Chaco Canyon, but it's closed off, it's fenced in, so you can't get there. So I knew I was supposed to be there because, see, Friday is Al-Jumu'ah in the Muslim religion, in Islam. So 12/21/2012 fell on a Friday, and that circle there, Pueblo Bonito, where I stood, it was 62 feet in diameter. Now, Surah 62, Holy Quran, is Al-Jumu'ah. So a lot of things lined up, and we actually followed the Hopi migration. So everything is on the one. We went to second mesa, which is the middle star of Orion's belt, the central star, the gateway to heaven. So the Hopi Cultural Center just happens to be the second mesa, which represents the second star, which is a gateway to enter Orion. So the star, these three stars in the belt of Orion, these three mesas, sits high on a plateau, points to Chaco Canyon. So Chaco Canyon is the stargate. Now, why wasn't we raptured? The night before, there was an astrophysicist there. There was a scientist who was working on cannabis. Was there? He's in the cannabis movement. There were quite a few people there, no black people. Quite a few white people there. Astrophysicists. Was very interesting. We built a fire in a circle that was a replica of that circle there in Pueblo Bonito, and we prayed. We talked about everything, why we were there, what brought us there, and how we was glad to see each other. I shared a few stones with people. I shared my story. Everybody embraced each other, one love, and we prayed. Nothing happened, and everybody there was afraid because they knew scientifically that something was going to happen, that the Maya calendar was correct. Personally, I have studied it for over 30 years, so I knew that the prophecy was correct. But there are people out here that never studied it, said nothing was going to happen. Not that they knew nothing was going to happen. Deep down, they didn't want anything to happen. They didn't believe in the prophecy. But why we want something to happen? Because we sick and tired of the way the people are, the ignorance, the evil, and the way the government is. So we wanted something to happen, not necessarily the world to end, because we knew everybody would have been killed. We didn't want that. But we prayed. And it says when two or more people join together thinking on one thing, that thing comes about. So we wasn't the only ones. There were people at Teotihuacan. There were people in Mexico. There were people in Africa. There were people in Egypt. People all over the world came together to pray for their safety and for the world's safety. So we know that the gods decided to give everybody a second chance. But in giving the world a second chance, people like me now suffer. We're in debt. We don't have any money. We're homeless because we gave up everything. We wasn't like the white people that came. I wasn't. That had money in the bank that they could just get up and left. By faith, I just left because that's what the Spirit told me to do. So, I'm going to try to set up something here electronically. Ask for donations. for my work that I've been doing to help me get back on my feet. And we want to try to raise money for the Master Blaster Jamming, because we know that the Master Blaster Jamming is the key. And we know that this is what we're supposed to do. We were given a chance to get this together, that more people, not just a little group that came to meet me and we go together, for the whole world, there are more people out there if they knew, because 12/21/2012, 65% of the United States was covered with snow. That's phenomenal. And right now here on the beach here, there are things that are blooming. It's about 70, 80 degrees today. It has been 90 degrees in the last few days. That's not normal. It snowed in Jerusalem the other day. That's not normal. People were killing each other. The school killings were going on while we were there on Second Mesa. Everything has changed. Specifically, we are 12/21/2012. We moved into the age of Aquarius. Now, think about the age of Aquarius, the new age. Same-sex marriages, homosexuality being flaunted before the world. That doesn't supposed to be in the new age. So we see that there is something wrong. So let us meditate on this meditation here and think about what is taking place. Just don't be happy-go-lucky and nothing is happening, because something is happening. You've been given another chance, and if you can see in the world things are not getting better, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and sooner or later it's going to climax. Now notice that the powers that be, the devils that be, placed our brother Obama in the seat. And notice how when he first came out, they had these controversies about he was gay and he had homosexual affairs and all this kind of thing like this. Now notice, during his administration, homosexuality has been brought to the forefront. So they set him up to bring the fullness of Satan to the forefront. As the indigenous people say, the world is going through a purification time right now, so all the gays are coming out. So they're taking it off the record books. Homosexuality is not a sickness. Well, we know that that's a lie. We know that it's a lie. We know that the world is sick. We know that the people of the world need help. So don't bash them. It's like we have been cast into a whirlpool of water. We have been cast into a rip current. So we can't fight it. We'll drown in it. We just have to be calm, and it will take, scientifically, it will take us through. We will go out to the other side of the whirlpool. We will not die in it. So they want us to fight it. They want us to join the fighting. They want me to be mad. You're taking my money. You're treating me bad for my simplicity and my righteousness. It is only ignorance, and I know that. So we're going to stick the people, children of the light, the children of Israel. We will stick together, comfort each other. And I'd like to thank all the people who supported me spiritually, and I'd like to thank all the people who understand. But remember, the revolution continues, and the revolution is not with guns. The revolution is with music. Bob Marley say, we free our people with music. So think about the things that you have learned from me about the Master Blaster Jamming, and realize it is the only way to change the atmosphere. We need a shock. But it is written, when the children of Israel, the children of light, cry out in unison, the gods will remember the covenant. So it appears, or it seems like the gods have forgotten the covenant. They have forgotten that they promised to come take us out of here. A lot of you don't care. I understand that. You think everything is cool because you got your job and you're making plenty of money. And you feel like you're safe. You didn't give up everything to learn like I did over 30-something years ago. You knew you didn't want to be poor. You didn't want to be ostracized. You didn't want to be shot like some of us was. You didn't want to be locked up. So you say, okay, I'll sell my soul to Satan. So while he's out there talking about he's fixing to be evicted and his wages are garnished and all this kind of thing like that, I'm happy. No. I told you nothing was going to happen. Believe me, something did happen. I saw the writings on the walls, and you wouldn't believe what's on those walls. You wouldn't believe what we saw. What you see from the pictures and what the archaeologists show you is nothing compared to what's there. It's a phenomenal thing. And some say it's way more phenomenal than the pyramids of Giza, Egypt. It is totally spooky out there, man. It is spooky. I was there 12/21/2012 when the sun rose from the bulge of the Milky Way. I was there upon the dawn of the new age. I was there. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time we call the Holy Master Blaster jamming. Peace. I want you to know that the ancient ones the Hopi called the Anunnaki, we know them as the Anunnaki. Many moons ago, thousands upon thousands of years ago, they set up a vibration for that when 12/21/2012 came, almost a month ago now, that I would be at Chaco Canyon. Let me tell you what Chaco Canyon is. Chaco Canyon is a stargate. This thing is beyond the physical. As I was telling you about those stones, there was a piece of, not granite, but some strange placard of stone, I'll say, was here. It's not here now. I was walking through Chaco Canyon in the freezing cold. I mean, my fingers are frostbit right now from 12/21/2012 when the sun rose. I was out there doing a ritual and placing stones to the four corners. I looked in a corner and I saw one of those three stone. It's like something that comes off of you know, the same kind of stuff that the mica. It was close to mica that the United Nations is made of, that type of stone. It was there, that same one that was here. I didn't pick it up, but it was here in my yard. I had left here once and came back and it was here. It was at Chaco Canyon when I got there. Now that's teleportation. Now look, in around 1991, I was leaving Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it was 1992 to be precise. I was living on Monroe Street here down in Jacksonville, Florida, just 30 miles south of here. I didn't have an ID. I didn't have any kind of identification, only my DD-214. That's the paper you get when you show that you've been honorably discharged or whatever from the military. So I was going to get a peddler's license to start vending in the streets or start vending in front of my house. that same DD-214 left me in Jacksonville and ended up in Atlanta, Georgia. Someone contacted me and said that my papers was at this store called Chagalia's. Now, note, Chagalia means self-determination. Is one of the points in Kwanzaa. It's one of the, I don't know how many it is, but you got like Imani, faith, and Chagalia, self-determination. You got a few other ones. It's got to do with Kwanzaa. Ron Karinga set all this mysticism up. But I went to Atlanta to get it, and as I was waiting to go to the store there, somebody invited me to a celebration that they was having. So I went. I walked over there, and from down by the Atlanta University Center, from Atlanta University Center to Chagalia's, which was about a mile away, and I saw a group of brothers in a circle. So I knew I was supposed to be there. They told me to come, but I didn't really come for that. I came to pick up my papers that mysteriously showed up there. So I just went and stood inside the circle. So my mind thought about the sun at that time. So that was like in 1992. My DD-214 military discharge paper was teleported from the place I was living in Jacksonville all the way to Atlanta. How did that happen? So some years later at Chaco Canyon, I see signs of this teleportation. Now, if we know what Chaco Canyon was and who built it and the purpose of it, it was for people to come together at certain times in history to communicate, to pray, to have sacred rituals. So upon the dawn of the new age, certain people came to certain places. My destination was Chaco Canyon at Pueblo Bonita, where I found these stones, these rocks that was buried in just one spot, not all around the house, but on the western side of the house. Now, another mysterious thing. Interstate 10, I-10, 10, 1, on the 1, carries you straight to New Mexico, straight to Arizona, straight to the Four Corners area. So all I had to do was get out, go to Interstate 10. Here starts in Jacksonville. Interstate 10 starts in Jacksonville, right where I'm at. Now, note Chaco Canyon is this area that has roads going all over for people to travel there. Straight lines. These roads are in straight lines. These roads are, study Chaco Canyon. They built roads in a straight line, coming to a central point. Now, Friday, 12/21/2012 was significant because it was Al Juma. It was a congregational prayer. So man supposedly came to Chaco Canyon to pray, to commune with the gods. Just being there does something to you. It's like walking into another world. It does something to your DNA. It does something to your inner self. It does something to your mind. And to see those on the walls there, you never see this in any books. On the walls there, you see Maya faces, black faces with big lips. It's on the walls there. I mean, it's a certain type of art. It's a certain type of artistic technique. It's not normal. And if you look, and you don't really have to look close either, but it's kind of like camouflage into the canyon. Like I say, people never talk about it. They never show pictures of it. I don't even know whether it show up on cameras, but you can see it. I've asked people, I say, what do you see, the people that gathered there, I say, what do you see when you look up at the canyon? They say they see faces and stuff. Now, people talk about aliens, and I think these aliens are, these creatures are like symbolic, because I saw one thing that they call like an alien. It wasn't a gray, but you know, these old long neck bug-eyed head thing. Well, there was one sculpture out of the rock, and it's almost like nature made these sculptures, but you know nature didn't make them. It's like somebody did it. It's like, and this particular alien-like sculpture, he's riding some kind of big beast. He's riding a big beast, and he's like got children all around his shoulders. He's carrying people like to safety, and it's like this beast is like. Then you look at it from another direction, you see something else. So there's a lot of artwork there. If you look at it from one direction, it's just like one tall slab about 100, 200, 300 feet high. And if you look at it from one direction, it's like a little point. It narrows down, and it's like it's standing on a point, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes up. And it's like one little point, and it's standing there all by itself. You look at it from one direction, just this one point standing on a plane like this, and it get bigger and bigger and bigger and wider at the top, like a pyramid kind of thing. It like it's upside down. But then if you go look at it from another direction, you see something totally different. And another weird thing about this wall is, I mean, this canyon, it's over 9 miles, about 400 something miles of Chaco Canyon, but it got a 9-mile area where you can go like see different sites. Okay, it's like this. It's like one big wall. It's like a mural, but things are like chiseled in. Some of it like it's plastered in, some like it's chiseled in, and some like it's did with clay. And then you got some like it's did with paint. Whatever technology they use, and it's weird because you can see iron rods. I don't really know where iron and stuff come from, but it's like, you know how a building was torn down. And you know how these cables of iron rod they put through pillars to hold the pillars up. Well, you can look at the sculptures on the wall, and you can see like these iron rods there, and it's real strange. It's like it's mind blowing. You have to go there to see it. Now, one thing about it is the teachings there. It's a 20. Note who's there on the 21st. There's a 21-mile long road that leads up to you, and it leads up to the canyon. And they got a sign there say, travel this road at your own risk. Now notice we got there at night. It was cold, freezing cold, frost-bitten cold, 1 degree below. And we got there, okay, we see this sign. I've always read about it, but I didn't really think about it. I took my car out there, and we rented a U-Haul, and we went out there in a U-Haul. We should have rented a Winnebago. The brothers had enough money at the time, but it's like, look, travel at your own risk. This road is rocky, so rocky you could lose your engine. You have to have a serious car, a four-wheeler or something, that a mountain climber. So that's symbolic of, in order to get to the heights, to the point of ascension, you got to go down this long, rocky road. So there's a great teachings there. I mean, my car is like, woo! It's a wonder that it made it. It wasn't a new car. I mean, the check engine light came on, you know, once I got back to a certain spot of negativity. I'm not going to say where that certain spot was, but the check engine light came on. But it's still going, thanks the Lord. But I'm just telling you the significance of this place, Chaco Canyon. It's something that you don't hear about, but you have to see it to understand what I'm saying. But this place was designed for us to travel there at this particular time that we went there. Everything was activated. It was activated. The people that went to Mexico, and all these things all these places are on a certain grid line, and the energies were activated. The Quetzal bird is in the sun, so the Christ did return. Now note the some symbology. The galactic core, the Milky Way. There's a bulge in the Milky Way. Think of a pregnant woman, a bulge. So upon the dawn, when the sun arose on that morning, coming up out of the dark rift, they call it, the dark rift, Hunapku, the dark rift, out of this bulge, the sun rose out of that bulge. So that's symbolic of the Christ, Haile Selassie, Jesus Christ, Quetzalcoatl, the Christ, born out of the manger, Sirius, right over Chaco Canyon, which is symbolic of Sirius, the 3 wise men's father star of Bethlehem. So Chaco Canyon is Bethlehem. So the Christ was born. As I said, I look into the sun, close my eyes, the Quetzal bird standing there. The Christ was born. Something did happen. The Christ was born in me. The Christ was born in others that made the pilgrimage, the holy pilgrimage. Even though it don't seem like the world as you know it ended, but it did. I'm living proof of it. Wages garnished, same-sex marriage. It's actually like almost impossible right now for me to survive, but I know that this is only a test. It's snowing all over the world now, and it's hot in some places that it don't supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be cold in some places. It's hot. It's supposed to be hot in some places, and it's cold. Everything is topsy-turvy. So the world is in it. So don't expect the man to jump off the building and hit the ground right quick. It's still falling. It's still falling. So I'm not trying to rectify anything. I'm just simply showing you what happened. Because a lot of you don't know that somehow, you know it's not right, same-sex marriage. I'm going to get off this bandwagon, but same-sex marriage, you got a lot, they got men pumping each other in the butt now. You got women looking at each other. Well, they've been doing that for years, but I'm just saying, it's out in the open now. They done came out of the closet, so it's a purification process. Let them out the closet. Let them out the closet. Let them feel free. They've been in the closet going crazy. Now let them come out and go crazy. Just freak out. Just freak out. Just freak out. Let them go ahead on and do what they got to do. Get it over with, because the world has got to go through this fire. It's a fire. It's on fire right now. Lust, fornication, killing, murder. It's on fire. So let it burn. Burn, Babylon, burn. So let's have the Nile begging and burn down Babylon and help Babylon to go ahead on and fall. You know what I'm talking about. So let's go on and do it. Kalanji, y'all come together. You done became the president of the Nile begging. A lot of brothers out there got money. A lot of musicians got money. I'm just a poor roster, poor brother that's bringing you the information to show you how to do it. I made the pilgrimage, the Chaco Canyon. It's just like going, you know, people go to Mecca every year and don't understand. They go counterclockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. And the solar system, I mean the Milky Way galaxy is moving in the same direction, counterclockwise. Everything is on the one. The ancient people set this up. So we followed the ancient migration of our Hopi brothers. We followed the migration. We did what the script told us. 1, 2, 3, 4. We went by the numbers.